Hey everyone, this is ABJB Gaming and I'm bringing you round 2 of the summer transfers and players which are no longer continued in packs. So up there we have 3 of the main players who have been transferred, which is Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Thiago Silva together to PSG, and Sharqui, who has moved to Bayern Munich. So now what we'll do, we'll go into the watch list and start with the players who have been transferred and some players who are actually not in packs anymore. So here we have Martin, who has gone to Lille and who's just moved within the League One, who's a centre attacking midfielder in French. And we'll move on to the German centre defensive mid Michael Ballack for Bayer Leverkusen. And he was a very good player, but he's no longer continued in packs. I think this is how you say the guy's name, Kranjaka, who plays for Tottenham Hotspurs, who's no longer continued in packs as well. Gardado, who is moved to Valencia. We're going Sylvester, the centre back for Inter now, who can be alongside Samuels in the Inter defence. We'll move on to Woodgate, who's moved from Stoke City to Middlesbrough. Taiwo, who's moved from QPR back to AC Milan after he was there for a little period of time. Pina, who is from Everton, who's moved to Tottenham Hotspurs. Pizarro, who's moved to Roma. I don't know how to say this guy's name. I think it's Theo Bax, who is, I think, in the League One. I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure about that guy's club. Zambrotta, the right back for AC Milan, who is now no longer in packs. So he'll no longer be there in packs for them. Duyuko, the striker who's playing for Hoffmann in the Bundesliga. Wolfsted, who is now part of Bayer Leverkusen, the centre back. And Salman Kalou, the Chelsea man, who's moved from Chelsea to Lille after his contract was no longer renewed. Here we have, we'll start with Tadic, who's from a left wing, who has also moved clubs. Bosingwa, the Chelsea man whose contract was not renewed, and he's no longer playing for Chelsea, so he's no longer continued in packs because he hasn't moved to a different team. Isala, who is now playing for Juventus, the right mid, so he's got quite a few people up front for Juventus. They've got quite a few players coming in as well this season. The right mid for Napoli, Santana, who's moved there recently. Oleg, who's moved teams as well, but I do not have him. I don't have the new version, but he's moved to Wolfsburg. Then we'll move on to Gaga, who has moved to Real Madrid, the centre defensive mid for Argentina. Then we've got Castro here, who plays for Mallorca, RCD Mallorca. Floracari, who I think that's how you say it, but the striker for Lazio. Benayoun, the Arsenal man who's moved to Chelsea. Rodriguez, who has moved teams, the left wing to Atletico Madrid. Then we'll move on to Cordoba, who is moved, who's no longer playing for Inter Milan, who's no longer in packs as well. Bentner, who's moved back to Arsenal. So Arsenal have got quite a few guys back this season, and they've got quite a few new guys coming in. Bonetta, who is no longer at Schalke. Sorry, who's at Schalke. Didac, who is at AC Milan, the left back. He's also Spanish, so it's good to see some Spanish players getting up the Liga BBVA. Nuno Assis, who is no longer playing at his current club, and he's another Portuguese player who's discontinued in Ultimate Team. Duritz moving within the Liga BBVA. I think that's Atletico Bilbao. Alex Silva also moving within his league in the Liga do Brasil, moving to Cruzeiro. Ruud van Nistelrooy is no longer playing at Malaga, and he is no longer continued in packs, so he is quite an old guy now, and still remembered for the days at Manchester United. Dominguez, Spanish player who's moved from the Liga BBVA to the Bundesliga, and I think it's I can't say the team's name, but I'll leave it on that. Zarate, who played for Inter Milan, who's moved to Lazio. Seydou Keita, who's no longer playing at Barcelona, so his days are over playing football, and it's sad to see him go. Diaz, who has also moved clubs to Atletico Madrid. Joe Cole, who's finally come back from the League One team Lille and has moved to Liverpool. So another option for those who are having a British BPL team. Munir, who is a left wing for Montpellier, I think that's how you say it. Well, that's in League One. Mori, who's no longer continued in Pax, I think he's left football altogether, who used to play for Lazio. So he's no longer there. Move on to the Russian player Semdov, who's moved from Moscow to another Moscow team. Basically moved from Dimitar Moscow and has gone to Lokomotiv. Also he's got quite a decent stat. Petric, who is moved to Fulham. Then we'll move on to Marcus van Bommel, who has moved from AC Milan. So AC Milan's been seeing a lot of their players go, and I think it's because of the financial problems. But he's moved to PSG. His partner as well, as you can see here, Clarence Seedorf, who is his partner, AC Milan, has moved to the Liga do Brazil team, Botafogo. So he'll be joining quite a few Brazilians in that Liga do Brazil. Asomo, who has moved to Juventus. Green, who's moved to QPR, and as you can see his price, he's already sold for 1,400. Probably his price will increase for the next 2 days and then probably go down. Dirk Kuyt, who's no longer playing at Liverpool, right wing, is no longer there, no longer continued in Pax as well. Iserbi, who has moved to AC Milan. I'm not sure how to say this name. It's Weirs, who is the first right mid for Manchester City. And he's also got a very good stat pace, so he's going to be quite fast. Elia, who's moved from AC Milan, who's moved to Bundesliga, Werder Bremen. Roberto Carlos, who is now no longer playing football, and as you can see there, someone's already snapped him up because he's no longer playing. Dante, who's moved to Bayern Munich, so you could probably put him at Luis Gustavo with the Brazilian chemistry. Vortogen, I don't know how to say that name properly, but he's moved to Tottenham Hotspurs, and he's also Belgium, so you could probably have him in a British Premier League team with Vermaelen and company. Aquilani, who's moved to Liverpool, and I think he's had some past history at Liverpool. Shaqiri, I think that's how you say his name, he's moved to Bayern Munich, and you can now have him instead of having Robin if you're trying to make a Bayern Munich team. And look at his pace stats, unbelievable. So he's a 89 pace, so he can probably be a very good substitute for Robin. Williams, who's moved out of the Liga do Brazil, who's moved to Udinese in the Series A, and Brazilian centre defensive mid with that pace stat is unbelievable, especially now if you could probably put him with Pato and Rubinho in a Series A team. Carlos Vela, who's 88 pace, who's gone to Arsenal. It's an absolute great stats for a 78 rated, which is surprising. But we'll move on to the next page, and here we have Marin, the left mid, who's actually become a centre attacking midfielder, who has moved to Chelsea. So it's going to be interesting using him with his pace and also with his stat, because he's very good with his left foot and right foot. And someone's put him at already 35k, but I don't think he'll be around 10, 15k. Gillett, who's moved to Torrentino, the goalkeeper, and I think that's one of the goal players alongside Agbono. Elano, who's moved clubs within the Liga do Brazil to Grêmio. Maxi Lopez, the AC Milan striker, who is now no longer there, and he's moved, I think that's to the Hellas Liga. So he's moved clubs. Irony, I don't even know if I said that correct, but he's moved clubs. I think I can't pronounce his name. Another name I'm not very good with. Iquienta, who's moved to Juventus, a striker. He's got very good pace. You can have him up front with quite a few of the Juventus players. Ebru, who has moved clubs. Victor, who has moved as well. He's now in the league. I think he's moved within the Liga do Brazil. But who played for Bayern Munich, who's no longer continued in packs, and he was one of the goalkeepers for Bayern Munich. Great substitute goalkeeper. Rafael Sobis, the surprise of all of them, the 5-star skill striker, who's no longer in packs as well. And I think this was a big shock, because now he's one of the 5-star skills for Brazil who's no longer going to be there. Hargreaves, who moved from Manchester United to City and then never really got playing with them, and now is no longer continued in packs, which was kind of a no surprise. So he's going to be no longer in packs. And then we'll move on to Ziegler, who's playing for Juventus, left back. And I think Juventus already have a Swiss player in defence, so they're getting quite a couple players, and they're having quite a lot of players in this transfers. I think this guy's name is Topal. He looks quite old in his picture, I think. And he's a centre defensive mid, and he's no longer in packs. Scully, who is at Lazio, I believe. And now we'll move on to Willian, and he is no longer in packs as well. He was in the Liga do Brazil, no longer continued there. We'll move on to Gordon, goalkeeper from Sunderland, and he's no longer continued as well. Del Piero, who's already had it, I think he had an informer as well in his ultimate team, who is no longer continued in packs. Luis Saha for Tottenham Hotspurs, who's also no longer continued in packs, French player. Great powerful left shot he has. Carlos Martins, who I think is no longer continued in packs. Miguel Veloso, who is definitely, I know, not continued in packs, and it seems quite a lot of Portuguese players around the midfield are being not in packs and not being continued in packs. Malberg, who had a great Euros, sadly they didn't go through, but he's no longer continued in packs as well. Adriano, a Brazilian striker, who I used him a couple of times. He's no longer continued. Canute, his stats have been going down since FIFA 11, and now he's no longer continued in packs. He was a great striker to have up front. Sadly, he's no longer there. We'll move on to the silver striker for Spanish striker David Barral, who is also no longer continued in packs, which we're seeing quite. These players here are mainly the ones that are no longer continued. Javi Marquez, who is, I think he's gone to RCD Mallorca. And then Moreno, not to be confused with the silver 5-star skiller, but this Moreno is the one that's no longer continued in packs as well. So he's no longer continued, and pretty much most of this page was players with that not being continued. But that kind of wraps up so far, and hopefully there'll be some new players or more new transfers moreover soon. I'm not sure if there is any more at the minute, but if there is, I'll get onto it in the next video. And this has been AVJ Gaming. Stay tuned for some more FIFA 12 stuff, maybe some videos on footage and gameplay,